Imagine digging into the earth and uncovering an army frozen in time. In 1974, farmers in Shaanxi province did exactly that when they discovered fragments of clay that led to the Terracotta Army, one of the greatest time capsules in history. Commissioned by Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of a unified China, the army was built over 2,000 years ago to guard him in the afterlife. More than 8,000 life-size soldiers, each with unique features, stand in silent formation, their faces so detailed that some believe they were modeled after real soldiers of the empire. Alongside them are cavalry units, chariots, acrobats, and officials, creating an underground city of clay and bronze. The level of craftsmanship is staggering. Individual fingerprints can still be seen pressed into some of the figures, and traces of bright paint hint at how vivid they once were before fading with time. Ancient texts suggest that the emperor's main tomb, still unopened, contains rivers of mercury flowing through miniature landscapes and palaces, a cosmic replica of his kingdom sealed beneath a mound. In the summer of 79 CE, Mount Vesuvius erupted violently, burying the Roman city of Pompeii beneath ash and pumice in a matter of hours. What was a disaster for its people became one of history's most haunting time capsules. Rediscovered in the 18th century, Pompeii revealed a city frozen at the moment of catastrophe. Villas still displayed frescoes of gods, myths, and daily life, their colors strikingly vivid. Mosaics decorated floors with scenes of hunts, banquets, and sea creatures. Graffiti scratched into walls captured the voices of ordinary Romans, political slogans, jokes, and even declarations of love. Archaeologists uncovered loaves of bread left baking in ovens, amphorae of wine sealed with resin, and plaster casts of citizens caught in their final moments, parents shielding children, servants clutching valuables, even animals struggling to escape. When British archaeologist Howard Carter broke the seal of King Tutankhamun's tomb in 1922, the world gasped at the sight of an ancient time capsule that had been undisturbed for over 3,000 years. The boy king's burial chamber was so densely packed with treasures that it took years to catalog everything. Golden chariots, thrones, alabaster jars of perfumes, jewel-encrusted daggers, and furniture crafted for eternity filled the space. The walls of the tomb glowed with painted hieroglyphs depicting rituals and gods, while sealed jars still carried faint scents of oils and wine. Most stunning of all was Tut's golden funerary mask, a perfect portrait of eternal youth and divine kingship. Unlike most pharaohs' tombs, which had been looted in antiquity, Tutankhamun's remained sealed, preserving a pristine message from the new kingdom. For modern historians, this tomb wasn't just treasure. It was a snapshot of belief, ritual, and daily life in ancient Egypt. It showed us how Egyptians imagined eternity, how they dressed their kings for the afterlife, and how they blended faith with artistry. On the eve of World War II, archaeologists in Suffolk, England, unearthed an astonishing Anglo-Saxon burial at Sutton Hoo. Beneath an enormous mound lay the imprint of a ship nearly 90 feet long, packed with treasures meant for a ruler's journey into eternity. Though the body had decayed, the goods remained: golden buckles, jewel-encrusted brooches, silver bowls from Byzantium, swords, helmets, and drinking horns fit for a warrior king. The craftsmanship revealed that 7th century England, often called the Dark Ages, was anything but dark. These artifacts spoke of artistry, trade, and wealth, connecting Anglo-Saxon England to a broader European and Mediterranean world. The famous Sutton Hoo helmet, with its intricate metalwork and fierce faceplate, became an icon of a culture we once thought primitive. This burial was not just about death. It was a performance of power, a reminder that kingship required wealth, faith, and spectacle. In essence, it was a time capsule buried deliberately, carrying a message of prestige to both the gods and future generations. Sometimes the most powerful time capsules are not treasures of gold, but treasures of language. The Rosetta Stone, discovered in 1799 by Napoleon's soldiers during his Egyptian campaign, was carved in 196 BCE and carried a decree in 3 scripts: Greek, Demotic, and Egyptian hieroglyphics. For centuries, hieroglyphics had been a silent mystery, their meanings lost to time. but the stone became the key, a trilingual dictionary preserved by accident. Because scholars could already read Greek, they used it to unlock the forgotten language of ancient Egypt. Suddenly, the walls of temples, tombs, and papyri that had been mute for 1,000 years began to speak again. Through this stone, ancient Egyptian religion, history, and daily life came back to life. The Rosetta Stone was not crafted for us, yet it became a message across time, showing that sometimes the most ordinary artifacts, a broken piece of basalt, reused as building material, can become one of humanity's greatest keys to the past. In the ruins of Nineveh, the last great capital of Assyria, lay another kind of time capsule, a library. King Ashurbanipal gathered thousands of clay tablets, inscribed with cuneiform writing, to preserve the knowledge of his world. There were texts on medicine, astronomy, rituals, laws, dictionaries, and even omens for interpreting dreams. Most famous of all was the Epic of Gilgamesh, the world's oldest surviving epic poem, telling of gods, heroes, and the search for immortality. When Nineveh was destroyed in 612 BCE, fire swept through the city. But instead of annihilating the tablets, the flames baked many of them harder, preserving them like pottery. For centuries, they lay buried until archaeologists uncovered them in the 19th century. Holding one of these tablets is like holding a direct transcript of ancient thought, the actual words of scribes recorded thousands of years ago. The library revealed the intellectual heart of Mesopotamia, proving that this cradle of civilization was also a cradle of knowledge. In Japan, the Kofun tombs stand as colossal, silent time capsules of an ancient age. Built between the 3rd and 7th century CE, these burial mounds, some shaped like giant keyholes visible only from the sky, hold the remains of emperors and nobles. The largest, attributed to Emperor Nintoku, stretches nearly 500 meters long and is surrounded by moats. Though most remain sealed out of reverence, discoveries in smaller kofun reveal the kinds of treasures buried within: iron swords, bronze mirrors, armor, jewelry, and clay figurines known as haniwa. These figures, often shaped like warriors, animals, or houses, were believed to protect the dead and reflect the world of the living. What makes the kofun so extraordinary is that they are still intact, untouched for over 1,500 years. Entire messages from a society that transitioned Japan into a centralized monarchy. Even without opening the great tombs, their size and mystery alone are staggering, standing as giant markers of a civilization's wealth and beliefs. Not all time capsules are built of gold and stone. In 1991, hikers in the Alps discovered the frozen body of Ötzi the Iceman, preserved in ice for over 5,000 years. Unlike kings or emperors, Otzi was an ordinary man, yet his discovery became one of the greatest windows into prehistoric life. His body, clothes, and tools were astonishingly intact. He wore a cloak of grass, leggings of goat hide, and shoes stuffed with hay for warmth. Beside him lay a copper axe, a bow, arrows, and a pouch filled with tools. Even his last meal, grains and ibex meat, was preserved in his stomach. Scientists studying Otzi found tattoos on his body, possibly for ritual or medical purposes, and wounds that suggest he may have died violently. More than any treasure, Otzi himself became a time capsule, carrying within him the story of life in Europe during the Copper Age. His frozen body proved that sometimes the most powerful messages from the past come not from kings, but from ordinary people whose lives were sealed by nature's hand. From scrolls hidden in desert caves to entire cities buried by fire and ash, these time capsules prove that the past is never truly gone. They are reminders that people thousands of years ago dreamed, believed, and feared much like we do today. Some were carefully crafted to preserve power, faith, and wealth. Others were preserved by disaster or accident. Yet all of them bridge the gap between us and the ancients, letting us walk in their footsteps, read their words, and touch their world. Every time a tomb is opened, a scroll unrolled, or a body revealed from ice, history itself speaks again.